Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
Yeah, boy.
And there's none more Cinema Classic.
I can't go through it again. We tried this last year, only we were recording it in the upper lobby of the Gateway Film Center.
Okay.
It was tinny and terrible. I don't know if I even produced it.
Really?
And it was for...
so we never got to really do this.
No, I'm not really.
We've never done a Jaws show?
We did a Jaws show for students who will never forget it.
Oh, my.
And I hate to praise you, but I'm going to tell you that segment of our class was delightful.
Our film school class?
At film school, because you know Jaws.
Yeah.
All right.
I love this movie.
Why do you love this movie? I'm tired of hearing about it, but tell me why.
If I can go back in my just primal memories of being a kid seeing this movie, number one, the colors. I don't know what it is. The mixture of the blue and the red and the yellows. It just felt like a happy place, like a bright, beautiful place. The second thing was the adventure, you know, the adventure of it. There's this kind of rousing adventure. We often think of Jaws as a horror film.
You wouldn't call it that?
No, I don't think it's a horror film at all.
Oh, man.
No.
You got this monster out there eating people up.
Right,
it's not a
it's
horror
an adventure. It's an adventure film. With some horrifying elements, to be sure.
I guess.
But it's not horror film in the way that, you know, like a slasher movie or this creature who's been, you know, depraved because of some radiation or something. It's not like that. He's a big old shark, and he's cruising the waters, and it's based on a true story. A bunch of shark attacks in New Jersey in 1917 inspired the story for Jaws. But I love the colors, I love the adventure, I love the characters. The interplay between Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. It's so rich, so great.
And that reminds me, next week we're doing Close Encounters of a Third Kind, and Richard Dreyfuss overheard talk that on the set of Jaws that Close Encounters was coming.
Okay. And
he researched it, and he was so thrilled that he kept after Spielberg to let him have that role. Because you know Spielberg wanted Steve McQueen, who turned it down because he hadn't learned how to cry on film.
That is so bizarre. What a bizarre anecdote. And also, you know, one of those beautiful casting choices, because could you imagine Steve McQueen in that role?
He's way too cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to be dorky, just like Richard Dreyfuss.
I mean, you could obviously understand why the aliens might want to study Steve McQueen rather than Richard Dreyfuss.
Right.
But yeah, Jaws is, I don't know, John, it's like it just has I love sharks. It's fostered a lifelong love of sharks in me. And
well, you know, for me, in addition to what you've said, there's a way that Spielberg creates suspense here, and I know you've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
How slowly he builds up the tension. Partly the music is just thrilling and memorable, but more than that, people at a beach unknowingly going to have their lives changed by this little thing in the water. The sheriff,
who's not little.
All right, who's the sheriff, who's Roy Scheider, who's kind of watching over everything like a father, like all of his children on the beach. And Spielberg creating that tension with the slow camera and the music to where we all know. I mean, this is a movie about a shark.
Yeah.
So we all know it's coming.
Yeah. You know, when we examined it really closely for that class that we did at the Film Center, I noticed things I'd never noticed before. The interplay of red and yellow, and the movement of the characters on the beach. But I think this is a terrific film if you're interested in film. And everybody loves Jaws, so this is a great entry point. Yes. But if you want to look at editing, you know, we so often hear the word editing, you know, every year at the Oscars, the best editor, and no one really, I think the general movie-going public probably has no idea what it does. They know what it is, they know it's cutting, but they don't know what it does.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays when editing is done so frantically, and everything is shot with 30 cameras from 30 different angles, and then they just cobble it together in a computer. This editing is purposeful. And watch how he goes from long shots to medium shots to close-ups, and how he cuts to the action, how he, and I say he, as though it was Spielberg. It was Spielberg working very closely with one of the legendary editors of the industry, which was a woman. Yeah, her name, no, not Thelma Schumacher. I forget her name, but they called her Mother Cutter.
Okay, right.
She was she had a long and storied editing career in Hollywood. And there's this anecdote that we came across during researching that class, where they had Spielberg had set up 2 levers, one for himself and one for Mother Cutter.
Right.
And when they watched the footage together, they pulled down the lever when they thought the cut should be made.
Right.
And Spielberg was always a second or 2 behind her. And he said, "Why do you keep doing that? Why can't we hold this shot out longer? I want to see the shark." And she said, "No, trust me. The less we see, the better." And it took him a while to understand that, because he had such legendary problems with that mechanical shark that he felt whenever he got it on screen working, he should show it. She had the wisdom to pull back.
And in fact, didn't she make him wait, or at least he waited an hour or more to get to actually see the shark? I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
how
Is
far?
it an hour in? I don't know.
Anyway, it's
it's there, you feel it.
Right, it's at least a half an hour before you even get a glimpse of the shark.
Right.
And that's what I love about it. And you talked about that cutting and how we're so used to quick cutting, which drives me to distraction after MTV. And now you take any horror film or any suspense film like this, and you're cutting really quickly, which is a cheap way of getting around having to do anything in depth. But what I love for Spielberg at this is the measured pace of his cutting. And just as you said, he can go smoothly from a long shot to a close-up, particularly the one of Scheider on the beach in his chair.
Oh my, yeah.
Well,
that's his little tribute to Hitchcock.
Yes.
So you see Scheider in a medium long shot, and then every time a character passes in front of the lens, the camera cuts closer to it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is going to be happening at the Gateway Film Center on tomorrow, July 1st.
Okay.
And it probably...
Tradition at the Film Center to show this movie on the 4th of July week.
Oh, okay, all right. And would we say it'd be 35 millimeter or 70? Of course.
This will be 35.
This will be 35 millimeter. Okay.
All right. Well, that's it. I mean, what's more to say? This is one of the greatest films ever made. You really get a sense of, people just come back for this movie year in, year out, no matter where it's playing, where it's showing, if it's on TV. It is a near perfect film.
And I think you've taught me that this is not a horror film. It is a suspense film.
Suspense adventure,
buddy
comedy.
Would you say for the whole family?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
That's interesting. I think that a kid as young as 7 can enjoy this film.
That's a good point.
There's some violence in it. There's severed limbs and a decapitated head.
And
don't forget.
You wouldn't have your young 4-year-old Franco.
This is Franco's favorite film.
Oh, that's great.